Good afternoon. Before we begin, I want to remind the committee members and members of the public to follow our code of conduct at meetings. This includes commenting on the specific agenda item only, and for public commenters addressing the full body and not individuals. All members of the committee, staff, and the public are expected to refrain from abusive language, and failure to comply with the code of conduct will result in removal from this meeting. I will now call the meeting of Neighborhood Services and Education Committee to order. Can the clerk call the roll, please?
Candelas.
Here.
Torres.
Here.
Duan.
Present.
Ortiz.
Here.
Davis.
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we're on to item B, review of the work plan, and I believe we need a motion to drop these two items, and just to be clear, they're going to come back with the new work plan for the fall.
So moved.
Second.
All right, can we get the vote? You're just going to put it on the screen, right?
Okay. Yes. Can you confirm who the second on that was?
Who seconded?
Councilmember Duan.
Thank you. I'm waiting on Councilmember Duan's vote.
Hold on here. Let me get this thing on. Well, yeah, there we go.
Okay, the vote was unanimous.
All right, thank you. That passes, and we will move on to reports to committee. Item D1, there's nothing on the consent calendar, by the way, so reports to committee. Item D1 is Public Life in San Jose, annual report. Carrie, would you like to start us off?
Yes, I would. Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Carrie Adams-Hapner. I'm the Assistant Director of the Office of Economic Development and Cultural Affairs, and I oversee the Office of Cultural Affairs and its work related to placemaking and public life. And I'm here today. I'm joined by PRNS Deputy Director Avi Yoram and Ed Solis, PRNS Superintendent. And it's a pleasure to be here. And this is our annual report to you on public life. Public life is one of the 8 enterprise priorities of the City Manager's Office. So we've had the benefit of working under the leadership of Angel Rios. And so we're here today to share with you where we've been for the past year and maybe preview some things coming up. So with that, I'm going to start and then I'm going to hand it off to Avi. But I wanted to share just an overview of what public life, how we define it. Public life obviously is something that every city department works on in some way, but where we're going to be focusing today has a little bit more to do with place. And so our definition is around safe, vibrant, and inclusive neighborhoods and public life. So we define it as the diverse mosaic of people who live, work, learn, and play in San Jose deserve vibrant, beautiful, accessible, safe, and inclusive public spaces that inspire friendship and connection across generations, cultures, and points of view. Our neighborhoods and public life must reflect the rich cultural history and lived experiences of our residents. Neighborhoods should serve as conduits for people to connect with one another, to build community, and provide pathways to opportunity, lifelong learning, and prosperity. There we go. So I'm going to start off talking about some of the work of the Office of Cultural Affairs. And I'm going to start with outdoor special events. So outdoor special events is permitted and authorized and also produced by our office. Our role in this city is we serve as sort of like a one-stop shop. So when an event organizer wants to hold an event in our downtown and our parks, paseos, as well as street closures, we work with them. We tend to work with the larger, slightly more complex events that require multiple permits from the city. So for example, if I think this is the Jazz Festival. They are definitely, they're closed for the whole weekend, and they have permits from DOT. They use police resources. They use parks. So it's a very complex event. So we work with them, and we essentially bring and coordinate all the different departments together, and then we make sure that we can authorize their use of public space. So we definitely have a facilitative spirit in the Office of Cultural Affairs where we'd like to remove barriers and get to yes. So for example, we've worked interdepartmentally on the proposed downtown vibrancy new permit that's in the mayor's message. And we're actually really excited about that and the opportunity to really activate our spaces and remove barriers. So with that, I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the work we're doing in the production realm. I should also just say our mighty team of 4 special events staff members, they authorize about 400 event days annually through about 130 events, and that together they accumulate and they drive about visitor attendance of about 2 million people. There you go. So we also produce events. We have an approach to our work in the Office of Cultural Affairs that really emphasizes cultural participation. And it's through opportunities for creative expression that people connect with themselves, and they connect with each other, and they connect with San Jose. So City Dance is a free dance event. It's held monthly. We do it in partnership with the San Jose Museum of Art, and it's on the 3rd Thursday of every month, starting in June through October. And every month has a different dance genre, and we have local instructors that teach the genre for about an hour, and then we have live music. So we're very excited to kick it off on the 15th of this month, so you're all invited. It's bring your boots, because it's going to be a country dancing. There you go. We've also been doing some activations of Sonic Runway. So just recently we had the celebration. On Monday we had the runway lit up in rainbow for Pride Month. We've also recently had a sound bath. We had somebody with their crystal bowls, and it's just been a really great way to celebrate and highlight different types of performances and genres, and also really to lift up different types of celebrations, such as the Ukrainian flag raising, when we partnered with San Jose Jazz, and we had Ukrainian jazz artists performing the runway. Here's the celebration. That was terrific. What we find is very important in these activations is partnerships. So we worked with Councilmember Torres, and then we also worked with Sonita Clash. We worked with local vendors. Sonita Clash identified a couple of lowriders. They brought all of their friends, and it was like a really successful and celebratory event. It's the sound bath we had. Public art is another very important part of what we do in public life. And I just want to really emphasize the public in public art. All public art goes through a very rigorous public process, and we want to ensure that we are commissioning work that reflects the community and the community's goals. So this is a great new project at the Fire Station 37 on Lincoln Avenue. This is a detail of that work. It's all ceramic, and it's absolutely gorgeous. This is a new one in District 7 at the Fire Training Center. It's called Resilient City. This is one that we did in partnership with the Salazar family, who lost their daughter, Kayla, during the Gilroy Garlic shooting. So it's things like this are very poignant, that at times can be quite sensitive, that it's through public art that we also help to heal and lift up people that have suffered such great losses. Also, we have recently deaccessioned and removed the Fallon statue. And this is actually, I think, going to become a community favorite. This is XO at the airport by Laura Kimpton and Jeff Schomburg. Some of you may have recognized it. It was here on the plaza back in 2017, but it was so popular that we decided to actually request to acquire it from the artist team. And it looks terrific. It's very dynamic, and I think it's really going to greet visitors in the best way. We also do the City Hall exhibitions, and so this is the one that's currently up. It's Hidden Heritages, and it's San Jose's Vietnamese legacy. We partnered once again with the Museum of Art, also Chopsticks Alley, and we also presented this incredible Grammy Award-winning artist in the Rotunda. So again, partnerships are really critical to our public life. We have a set of creative ambassadors annually, and we have 4 this year. And it's essentially their job as part of their ambassadorship is to promote the importance of creativity in everyday life. And they work directly with the public with different types of projects. We also have a We Create 408 creativity challenge that we do online. And essentially every day there's a different prompt that encourages you to be creative in your everyday life and then share it on social media. So this is one example where we ask people to upload their favorite landmark in San Jose. Make Music Day happens every year. It's happening once again on June 21st. It's always the summer solstice, where everywhere can be a venue and anyone can participate. So there's currently, I think, about 20 different venues that have been identified, including community centers and libraries. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Avi. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Good afternoon, Chair Davis, members of the committee. I'm Avi Tom, Deputy Director of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services. We've talked a little bit about how public life has a pretty central role within the city's overall set of programs. I want to share a little bit in particular how central it is to Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services. As you know, we're guided by a 20-year strategic plan, Activate SJ, that has 5 guiding principles of stewardship, nature, equity and access, identity, and public life. And in structuring that document in that order, we really see public life as that culmination, that if we've done stewardship, nature, equity and access, and identity, we will set the stage for true public life within the system of Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services by promoting community spaces for a safe, fun, and healthy San Jose. As Carrie mentioned, public life can take on many meanings and be many things. It can mean facilities that function as designed, like Raging Waters or Happy Hollow, the Rose Garden, the Rotary Play Garden, or very soon, an amazing all-inclusive playground at Emma Prush Farm Park. Today, though, we're going to focus a little bit more around our efforts in the programmatic sphere to bring placemaking, to bring places to life, and facilitate that through our programs. I'm not going to try to steal the thunder of my colleague, Recreation Superintendent Ed Solis, who's going to go into that in great detail. But I do want to acknowledge that through this evolution in PRNS of experimenting and evolving our placemaking efforts, we've started a lot of journeys, and sometimes those journeys come to an end. And I do want to share for the group that today is actually going to be the last presentation from Mr. Ed Solis as a full-time staff member, and this Sunday's Viva Kai will be his last ride with us as a full-time staff member, as he is going to be retiring this summer. So without further ado, turn it over to Ed.
Thank you, Avi. Good afternoon, everyone. I started crying. So yes, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about some of the amazing work that we do in Parks and Recreation. And as Carrie did, I'd love to give our staff a big shout out. It's a small group of people who are compassionate. They love San Jose. They are, they live and bleed everything that we do, and they do it with such great vigor, and it's hard work, and they do it with a big smile and a lot of love. So I really appreciate all of our folks who are out right now putting up tow signs 6 miles of city streets. So big shout out to our team. And so I'd like to jump right in. This past year, as you know, we were very fortunate to have placemaking put into the general fund after many, many years of fundraising and advocating, and thanks to Angel Rios, who was our director at the time, getting people to embrace you're not driving your car down this road today was a very difficult program to begin with, but through the amazing leadership of Angel and now John Cicerelli and all of our partners in the different departments, Viva Calles is the flagship program, the largest open street program in Northern California, and rivals with the numbers that of California and Los Angeles, who do 11 of these a year. And so with that, this past year, we activated in the months of September, May, no rain, and June. This Sunday, June 11th, we'd like to invite everyone out to participate. Viva Calles regularly draws over 100,000 folks through 6 miles of city streets to visit our iconic neighborhoods, our business districts, and parks and landmarks. For those of you who have ever participated, you know, I call it miles of smiles. It's very hard to see somebody who's not having a great time enjoying car-free streets that are usually packed with traffic, and they get to traverse throughout the city flawlessly, very safely, and it's just a wonderful day for all. So having 3 programs per calendar year is wonderful for our staff. We're able to plan our routes out in advance and do a lot of the outreach and community building that's necessary. And as this is my last presentation, I'd like to just kind of remind everyone, especially our council members that are new, people look at Viva Calles as a number of things, right? It could be a pain in the butt. Some people look at it as the bike thing. Some people look at it as the roller skating thing. Coming from community, I see it the community thing. It's also the health thing. It's also the economic impact thing. It brings people together as equals in the streets. Nobody has a Tesla or things of that nature. We're just all equals, and we're going through communities and neighborhoods that we probably wouldn't. And so this allows people to have some exposure to places like Japantown and downtown San Jose. We went through San Jose State on our last ride, and there's a lot of kids from East San Jose who that might have been the first time they ever stepped foot on a university. And so Viva Calles does many, many things for the city of San Jose, and I'm proud to be a part of the team that brings it to us. So we're looking forward to the future. How does this work? Oh, Viva Parks. It's a background. Our Viva Parks program has been around since the inception, and it has only grown in popularity. This past year, we activated 78 different times in our neighborhood offering of Viva Parks and 79 in our downtown area. The reason that we differentiate is because Viva Parks belongs in every park. It belongs in every community. And so spreading out the love is what we do. But we also take a very scientific approach in that we use our Healthy Place Index, which was developed by our Parks Department to identify parks that need a little extra love, that may not have the amenities or have the different types of access to communities. So there are some parks that activate themselves, and so we really look at the parks that are pocketed parks, the Chris Hott parks, the Children of the Rainbow parks. So these are the different places that we choose to strategically program. And again, if you've ever been to Viva Parks, it's a wonderful time. We have food trucks and yoga, special events. We also have an opportunity for local nonprofits and resources to bring out the resource table and reach those families and those folks who could use the resources. Again, it's a very challenging to find somebody who's not happy or not having a good time when the kids are having access to play, art, music, and things of that nature. Our downtown offering is a bit different in that we do a lot more smaller events. We partner with a lot of our downtown groups, Downtown Association, Levitt Pavilion Foundation, and definitely a lot of our businesses to activate primarily San Jose's, Plaza de Cesar Chavez and St. James Park, but we also take advantage of the plazas and the paseos. So that's wonderful. Our next program was a very popular, of course I'm going to mess the slides up my last time. All right, Abierto. For those of you who don't know, Abierto was a great program that was passed down through the mayor's office in response to the arts community saying, hey, I know that the pandemic impacted our restaurants and our food businesses, but it also impacted people's ability to perform. And so through the mayor's office, $1.4 million was allocated over the last 2 years that came through our team. And we were able to partner in a very expeditious way with 4 lead agencies, 4 of our larger contracted agencies, and they in turn subcontracted with smaller art agencies, some that may not have an official business license or maybe not be a larger or mid-sized organization. This could be a small folklorico group or different dance groups. And so through the last year, through our 4 main agencies, we partnered with over 36 smaller art agencies to provide dance, cultural awareness, painting throughout the city of San Jose. We also helped bring back some larger events, such as the orchestra and the San Jose State, I can't remember exactly what they're called.
The student orchestra?
All that good stuff,
Yeah.
yes. So it was a very popular program. Unfortunately, it was funded through our recovery program, our recovery funds, and so the past 2 years have been wonderful, but I think it had a great impact in bringing back our arts group and sustaining them. So we're back and open for business, and we were really excited to be a part of Abierto. I was very fortunate to visit Copenhagen a few years ago, and I remember there was a gentleman who said, one of the toughest things about working with the city is the forms are long. And so working with the mayor's office, we were able to basically produce a 1-page form that told us where you want to do it, how many people are you going to activate, and what is your budget. And it was wonderful to see everybody lose their minds about a 1-pager. They're so used to so many pages are like, okay, well, where's the rest of it? Well, that's it. So it was great to see that streamlining effort. And again, getting $1.4 million out to different agencies was a monumental task in itself. And so I really, again, like to thank my team who took on this amazing effort that impacted our arts communities. Now, Paint the City, SJ, Paint the City was part of our Viva Parks program. We called it, the Wine and Paint Night or the Paint Night, which was an add-on to our Viva Parks. Extremely popular, and so over the last year, we made it its own program. And if it's its own program, you got to have a name and a logo. So we clip art. No, I'm just kidding. We had a local artist help design this wonderful logo, and we started to roll it out. Last year, we had 24 standalone paint and wine nights. We discussed with certain communities, some didn't want the wine activation part, and so we just really call it Paint the City SJ. Some have wine available, some don't. But it's also expanded to include children as well. So we have the smaller easels. As you know, if you've hosted in your council district, they sell out extremely fast. And sell is just the word we use. It's free to the public. But because we only have an X amount of people we can work with at a time, we do allow these programs to go out through Eventbrite. We do work with the council members to let folks know, and unfortunately, they do fill up very quickly. But very popular, really great. Even somebody like me who can't draw a circle, I can do a little something. So very popular program, and we're really happy that it's a standalone effort now as well. Our next slide is our special park unit. So for many years, many people in our department believed that placemaking and our public life efforts would be best aligned with our special park units because even though we're in the same department, we actually apply for a permit, just like everybody else does. And we were kind of in different divisions. This past year, we merged, and we welcomed our special parks team into our public life team. And it has been a very rewarding experience for our staff. It's good to cross-train. It's good to learn from each other, and it really has streamlined the effort. We are currently, as a team, looking at our permitting process and looking at ways to make it maybe not a one-pager, but something that's definitely a lot easier to digest on the user end as well as the internal client end, because again, we have to apply for permits just like every other producer in the city of San Jose. So there's things like being ahead of the game, putting your permit in on time, making sure that you have every single thing that you need to check off that box. And sometimes I have to remind our SPU unit people that I'm their manager, because they're like, sorry, you got to kick this back. Are you serious? Really? To me? Okay. But again, we follow the rules like everybody else. So SPU has been a great addition to our public life team. And with that, we would like to make the recommendation to accept this presentation and open the floor for questions.
Thank you. Do we have any public comment on this item?
We actually need to go back to public comment for work plan. We took a vote and we had one hand up.
Okay.
Blair?
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thank you for circling back and asking for my public comment. I will pass on public comment and simply move forward to the agenda item that you're speaking to at this time. Thank you for its item. It seems like an interesting committee meeting today. Thank you. For this item, I was interested in how you talked about Viva Calle issues. You know, I'm living in San Diego now, and the ideas around Guadalajara, Mexico, they have a 4-day event where they close down like a number of streets and offer street fairs, vendors, city services, you know, places where you can go for city services. It becomes a real weekend, 4-day weekend experience that I think Viva Calle was partly based on. And more interestingly, at this time in our lives, what Vision Zero is kind of based on. That is the principles that Vision Zero is meant to work towards. So we're not just a law enforcement data collection process. It's a real community effort. It's the ideas of real community harmony, and that's the emphasis of Vision Zero. I hope we can remember in talking about the greatness of Viva Calle. I mean, it is one of the really good things of the city that they do really well. So just a reminder of those things. A reminder, as I mentioned, San Diego, the mayor of Guadalajara was in San Diego a few weeks ago. A lot of interesting people from the global south are traveling through San Diego at this time. It's really interesting. And so just a thank you for this item, and to really consider what's really possible, the concepts of peace, working towards peace and openness and accountability, open democracy. It invites things like Viva Calle and our better selves. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. Councilmember Torres?
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for the presentation. It's always great to hear and see that our departments are bringing vibrancy to downtown San Jose. So as the downtown council member, so a huge thank you to PRNS, Viva Parks, Viva Calle, OCA, and our OED teams for bringing vibrancy back into our downtown. I attended, was it the Oh Wow Festival this weekend at the Discovery Meadow Parks? And the organizer of that event said that San Jose was the best city in the Bay Area, should be in the world, to work with. And so she had been shopping around San Francisco, Oakland. It was geared to our Asian American families, and there was tons of people there. But she said it was easy to work with. It was easy to create an event in one of our parks. So kudos to you. I told her to come back. So hopefully she does come back into one of our downtown parks. But that means a lot. I had one or two questions, but I failed to write them down. So, however, as you may know, Viva Parks, Viva Calle, those are all amazing, and some of us have already attended some of our Viva Parks, and Viva Calle, just can't wait for it this Sunday. It's a good event, and we hope to continue to see these events happening throughout our downtown. And I motion to move D1.
Second.
Councilmember Gonzalez?
Thank you. I too wanted to just express my appreciation for staff on this item and the work that you do. Whether it's our cultural affairs office doing the Selena-thon in partnership with Councilmember Torres' office. I know I had a blast, and I saw plenty of residents from District 8 in downtown enjoying the Sonic Runway and the music. And with regards to Viva Parks and Viva Calle and our placemaking activities with our parks and our community activations, I'm a huge fan, not just for the fun for the kids, my nieces, my nephews, but for the fact that we can bring the community who has tends to stay away from parks in light of what's going on and the affordability challenges and the work that we have to deal with. So I know I was at Welch Park last night for our Viva Park, so that was a blast. And Ed, I want to give you a huge shout out. I know you're retiring, so you leave a legacy with Viva Calle, and I know the advocacy that happened, because although there's plenty of folks on the dais now who love to enjoy, I know it was controversial in the beginning. I know because I was there, and it wasn't very popular to close down streets for activation. So that leadership on a staff level from bottom up is now trickled down from the top down. So I commend you on that. And, I wouldn't be doing my due diligence if I didn't advocate for Viva Calle going back to Lake Cunningham, since, we haven't been back since 2017, and I know you have plenty of support to get that going. So that being said, I appreciate what you do, and keep up the good work for the residents of not just District 8, but for the city of San Jose. 6 miles, okay.
I just want to add my thanks to the whole team for all of your work and activations, especially in very difficult conditions over the last few years. And Ed, just on a personal note, I've been with you since the beginning on Viva Calle, and I know it's changed views even in my district, as you've gone to a couple of places a few times, and the response over time has been more and more positive, and you've really got it dialed in now, and I really appreciate that. So yeah, just like the other council members, we love all these events, and I think that it's easy to overlook the importance of public life and the events that you do, and they are really crucial to all of us feeling a sense of unity and cohesiveness in our city and pride in our city. Someone said recently to me, San Jose is the only place I know where people who live there wear t-shirts with their name on it, with San Jose on it. And it's just stuck in my head. It was a few weeks ago, and it just stuck in my head because I do see San Jose t-shirts all over, and a lot of them are Viva Calle t-shirts. Mm-hmm. So it is really crucial what you do, and we are very grateful for all of your work. Thank you. I think we're ready for the vote. Oh.
Chair, if I could just say something real quickly. Bringing Viva Calle to San Jose, definitely a lot of people were involved, but I got to say that Ed has been a force of nature in terms of making it happen. And so wanted to say publicly, Ed, thank you, for your leadership and determination in making this happen. And you leave quite a legacy behind, and it's great to see you in a suit. I think the last time I saw him in a suit was during an interview. I'm kind of impressed by that.
I was wondering if you had flip-flops on under
He
there.
probably does.
My wife shot that down. She's like, "What are you doing?"
But thank you, Ed.
Councilmember Juan.
So thank you very much, Ed, for bringing our community together, bringing the vibrancy back to our city. And it's sad to say that you have to move on to your new endeavor, but thank you, and we are grateful for your service.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
All right. Now that we've added our kudos, we are ready for the vote. Thank you.
The vote was unanimous.
Thank you, and thank you very much. We will move on to item 2. This is City Initiatives Roadmap Advancing Equity Through Culture and Practice Status Report. Zulma and team. I think our committee has the best looking presentation, so I just want to put that out there.
Okay, I'll get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Chair and members of the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee. My name is Zulma Maciel. I'm Director of San Jose's Office of Racial Equity, and I am pleased to introduce to you my 2 colleagues, Andrea Trong, Racial Equity Manager, and Jasmine Hartenstein, Acting Inclusion and Belonging Manager. On the next slide, I have this, don't I? I have control over this? There we go. So this is a quick status report on what we've done, what we've been busy with in the Office of Racial Equity, which includes both worlds of what used to be immigrant affairs work, as well as how we advance racial equity through culture and practice. We'll give a little bit of background, and then I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues to talk about some highlights in the work plan. On this slide, I don't expect that you're going to read this. That's not the point. What's really important here is that we're trying to demonstrate that over the last year, we really have worked hard in trying to merge the work that was formerly the Office of Immigrant Affairs into what's now the Office of Racial Equity. And so the second iteration of this Welcoming San Jose plan that has a large set of strategies that were developed by community members and community organizations that are still really important, and that's all the inclusion and belonging work. And so when we think about advancing racial equity through culture and practice, it's really ensuring that those principles of equity, inclusion, and belonging are weaved into all that we do. And we took some time to identify very specific objectives and strategies, which we'll talk about a little later. But the other piece that I wanted to note about just sort of the integration of both streams of work into one is that what the Office of Immigrant Affairs taught us was that when we have very targeted strategies for a particular community, like immigrants, which make up nearly 40% of the city's population, we actually get further ahead. And so when the Office of Racial Equity was established, we then decided it's time to look at the needs and aspirations of other groups in our community. And that really is the intent here. And so when we talk about advancing racial equity through culture and practice, it means that it's not just the things that we do. We understand that the city acknowledges that inequities were created and are sustained by structural racism and systems and patterns of exclusion. And we believe that the solution to remediate this problem is for the city workforce as a whole, not just the three of us in the Office of Racial Equity, to adopt an equity mindset, the skills and practices necessary to address and eliminate racial inequities. But it's also to accept that overcompensation may be temporarily needed to level the playing field, because that is simply good public administration. At the bottom of this slide, you'll see the racial equity definition, just a piece of it that was adopted by, I think it was adopted last year, or maybe even the previous year. It was last year. It's been a long 2 years. And so basically, racial equity is achieved when race can no longer be used to predict life outcomes and when everyone can prosper and thrive. Here, as you'll find in the memo, we talk about going through a process of identifying our vision for what we seek. But what's really important here is our mission. As a small Office of Racial Equity, we are here to support the city organization to embed a racial equity practice, which is actually doing the work every day, applying equity principles, looking at things differently, asking different questions. And also embodying a culture that sustains it, which means that it's part of the culture and the DNA of the organization, that it's leadership in all levels of the organization that are going to sustain it. The practice is a skill, the culture is the being, and that's the mindset. Won't go into reading everything on these slides, but when I talked about collapsing all the strategies related to advancing the blueprint for racial equity, as well as the Welcoming San Jose plan, we basically merged them and identified 4 overall arching work plan objectives. What I wanted to note here is that the city organization, along with many other public agencies, has adopted the Government Alliance on Race and Equity framework, and we overlaid that framework with our objectives and the plan. So there is a structure here that we're following to make sure that even when we're thinking about performance measures or the outputs, that we're putting them into categories related to the framework. And lastly, before I turn it over, I wanted to mention that like the rest of the city, we too have experienced staff turnover, and we've lost 3 staff members, key staff members in our small office, which is nearly 50% of us. But despite that, we have been able to accomplish some pretty incredible things. And so with that, I want to turn it over to Andrea to talk about some of those accomplishments.
Thank you, Sulma. My name is Andrea Trong. Good afternoon, council members. Again, my name is Andrea Trong, and I am the Racial Equity Manager in the Office of Racial Equity. I wanted to describe a little bit of highlights of our accomplishments. I won't go into too much because there's so much that's available in the memo, and especially attachment A in our memo. But in this slide, as Sulma had described, those 4 circles describe the objectives for our work plan. So objective 1 describes the normalizing in our work of racial equity and inclusion and belonging. Objective 2 is establishing and maintaining the infrastructure, that organized piece, right, and that Soma had just also described. And objective 3 and 4 establishes equity practices as well as improving immigrant access to city information. So one highlight that I'm incredibly proud about is that we are one of the first large cities to implement such a two-part foundational racial equity training series that is mandatory to most of our staff. So I'm proud to say over 5,700 staff members have completed this training. That's a huge feat in itself. And many new employees are required, or they are provided this resource about a month into their start at the city so that they're able to see this kind of training. Sola and I have been both reached out to by many cities, many agencies on kind of asking us about our lessons learned, how we implemented such a large-scale training, and the successes, our challenges, what we would do differently. But I think most importantly, what this training represented is providing that resource, providing this information on history, concepts about racial equity, or what is associated locally to San Jose, as well as setting the expectation that racial equity is at the center of our city services. So that's just one highlight, and I'll pass it on to my colleague, Jasmine Hartenstein.
Good afternoon, council members. Jasmine Hartenstein, Acting Inclusion and Belonging Manager. And I'm just going to talk about two other highlights. As Andrea mentioned, 3 and 4 are really about operationalizing the work and putting in the effort. And so the Office of Racial Equity collaborated with Chopsticks Alley, which is a local nonprofit arts organization, to conduct an arts-based solidarity campaign in response to the Stop AAPI Hate memo that was approved by council in December of 2021. What that campaign did was bring together local artists of various ages, various ethnicities, various backgrounds, and it highlighted the similarities that we find within our differences. And they paired that with a panel discussion as well as a group dialogue after. And then one of the most exciting achievements I think that we are excited about is the San Jose for All advisory group. We received 130 applications in English, Spanish, and Vietnamese. We had an evaluation panel review those applications, come to a consensus, and select 12 members from the community to serve on this advisory group. And they will be launching their kickoff meeting on June 20th. Again, this was a very brief overview of just a few of those highlights. So I'll go ahead and stick it over to Zulma to finish out our presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Jasmine and Andrea. So looking forward, more trainings, more workshops, more experiences that augment the city's ability to put into practice equity, inclusion, and belonging principles. We will be fulfilling more strategies of the Welcoming San Jose, but also developing the new Welcoming San Jose plan to present to you a year from now. So that process to create the third iteration of the Welcoming San Jose plan is on the horizon for the new fiscal year. So with that, we're happy to take questions.
Thank you. Is there any public comment on this item?
There are no hands up and there's no speakers in person.
Okay, great. Councilmember Ortiz?
Thank you, Chairwoman. And thank you to, of course, Sulma and all of the staff at the Office of Racial Equity for putting together this important report, as well as all of the great work that you do throughout the year. I really appreciate the work that you all are spearheading and making sure that the city especially is prepared to welcome asylum seekers at this moment that may arrive in San Jose, while also moving forward to create a city that is more equitable. Addressing historic and systemic inequities in our city government, really in local government entirely is a priority for me, and I believe it's a priority for my colleagues. And I believe what's significant about that work is we have the opportunity to create actual material change systemically to improve the lives of marginalized populations and residents of San Jose. To that end, I do have a few questions. Can you explain in a little bit more detail elements of the budget equity worksheet that each completed? And just for example, what kind of leading questions are used for self-reflection? or for an understanding of equity as a practice?
Thank you, Councilmember, for your question. In regards to the budgeting for equity worksheet, 100% of our departments had completed it. And so something to note is that the worksheet that many jurisdictions and agencies also use, by the way. So we have iterated that throughout the years of what kind of questions have worked, what have landed, the kind of process. And so I want to name that this worksheet is both a process and a product. When I name a process, that kind of analysis, that work that we do together. So what I mean by that is, one, the departments have to do their own work that's structured on a budget kind of proposal, centered on a core service area that they're particularly looking at. And at the Office of Racial Equity, what we do is provide a workshop, a training, so that they are able to kind of understand what the expectations are, understand what that process is, and this is our third year doing so, but time and time again, we want to provide that resource because we think it still continues to be important. And we also provide follow-up one-on-one time directly with departments so that if they have questions such as, the product of the worksheet is who benefits from this budget proposal ask, who is burdened, what kind of data are you using? And that could be both encouraged quantitative and qualitative, Thinking about storytelling, knowing that quantitative data, we are informed, but also there are many things in our community that are driven by, focus groups and surveys and such as. So who is burdened by any means, and if who by your budget proposal is being impacted directly, especially thinking about communities of color and other marginalized, historically disadvantaged communities. So there are a series of questions, there are about 6 questions in this worksheet that kind of prepare that, and it's part of the process. Even though there's 6 questions, there's a lot behind those questions, about gathering the data, thinking about what's possibly missing and what's not. And we like to think in the Office of Racial Equity as a resource so that we can provide that kind of possibly missing gap with departments. And departments have been really responsive about our help and as well as time after time of completing this worksheet.
Thank you. Very, very well said. So I forgot if you said a percentage or how many. So we have departments filling out these questions right now as things become before the City Council?
Well, actually, we prepare way in advance.
Okay. Right.
We prepare in conjunction with our budget office way in advance. So we start with our workshop at September. And so we work alongside our budget office so that when budget development season comes, there's ample time to think about this process that I delineated, It's from September, we provide training, but we also provide that one-on-one time so that staff have time to think about it, to come back to us so that by development season, they're able to provide something. And as I mentioned, we work alongside our budget office the entire time throughout this timeline as well.
Where could we find, are those documents available to council members? No, not at the moment.
No, and I think so this is done one time a year during the budget process in the budget proposal development phase. I think your question was, is this happening ongoing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't happen ongoing, but I will add this, not specifically to collecting those budgeting for equity worksheets, but what we have also offered is a racial equity impact assessment guide, which is something they could walk through anytime they're making a decision, whether it be a budget, a program, or a policy. And what I want to add is that while this is the 3rd year that we've been doing this, we have seen a maturity level in the way that these are being submitted. And part of that is that in the very first year, perhaps departments weren't collecting the appropriate data that could actually inform some of those questions. And the second year, they decided, okay, we're going to have different data and perhaps even ask different questions in our customer surveys or perhaps ask the community. And so we've seen this evolution that's actually really difficult to put our finger on for every department, but it's been interesting to see a growth based on just a set of questions that staff is beginning to interrogate. And that's part of the practice, You do it once, you do it again, you keep doing it, and all of a sudden it's second nature. And that's, I think, the exciting thing to see in this organization.
Thank you. Next question. I'm glad to see that every city department has made a racial equity action plan. That's exciting. and recognize that we might need to expand staff to fully implement those plans. Can you, if available, are you able to provide some highlights from a few departments of results we may see once the plans are fully implemented?
Yeah, so let me share, maybe I'll share like 3 quick highlights based on the normalize, organize, and operationalize, because even the departments are operating under that framework. So the airport, under the normalize, has been doing a lot of developing accessible educational and training materials for their staff. They're holding regular, and I know this because they seek consultation with us, regular DEI lunch and learns for all staff to come together. That's just part of the normalizing, meaning that they are demonstrating what it looks like to just have honest conversations about this stuff. That's one example. Another one is the Attorney's Office creating racial equity task force. That's the organize. So it's not just about talking about it, it's about creating a task force within a department to help move the work forward, to monitor the racial equity action plans, and to provide recommendations to the office. The IT department, who's a regular partner with the Office of Racial Equity, they created an approach to protect against algorithmic, I can't even say the word, algorithmic bias in the city's tools and services. I mean, think about that. That's not anything, I don't have an expertise in algorithms and certainly not algorithmic bias. But we can consult to a certain extent, but we have to have the content experts sort of figure out the rest. And that's how you operationalize it. So those are just 3 examples of how that's working in departments across the city. But to fully, I guess for me, fully implement it is that these strategies that every department has in the Racial Equity Action Plan, they could finish them, and it's going to show that they've been disciplined and they've demonstrated progress. But it's also important to incorporate all new and seasoned employees on a regular basis, and maybe that's the opportunity for expansion, so that they see themselves in this work. And so that's why for us, doing the orientation to all new city employees about what do we do is really important. And we tell them, go look at your Racial Equity Action Plan, talk to your supervisor about how you can get involved, look at our resources online. So there are ways for every new employee to engage. I also want to say that, I'll leave it at that. I'm getting too long-winded.
No, thank you. I really appreciate, especially your comments in regards to algorithms, because I used to work in workforce development. I know some of the technology and methodologies, even like hiring practices, they use methodologies that just scan resumes, and if you set it up, certain ways, it could ignore a majority of African American and Latino candidates when they're searching for jobs, which the city misses out on great talent. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Appreciate it. And finally, as we onboard new leadership in the future, is there going to be any sort of continuity in work plans or room for expansion? What essentially should we expect to see?
So 2 answers to that question, and thank you for that, because the continuity is part of the culture. And so we are working with the top leadership in the organization, the deputy city managers, assistant city manager, and the city manager, and already doing some work there that's going to be cascaded to department directors. And then we're going to do some work in the fall with all directors and executive staff. So maintaining a regular cadence of check-ins is important. But I think what's really important about this is that despite whether or not there is a change in leadership or directors retiring and so forth, a lot of the work that's happening within the departments is really driven by several layers of the departments. And there are people who are really committed to this. And so I'm not worried about whether or not something changes at the top, because it's already beginning to take, the momentum is happening, and having several levels of staffing in the making, the development, the monitoring and tracking of racial equity action plans, or just doing the work every day is happening, whether or not, there's a change in directorship.
Okay, and I just thought of this question, and I know sometimes when it comes to like racial justice work, we got to be careful when people talk about like metrics or looking at, how do we measure, because sometimes it's hard to measure, culture and stuff like that. In the future, is there ever thoughts of putting together like a metric or something like that that we could use to measure?
That's an excellent question. I think that racial equity practitioners and my colleagues across the U.S. are struggling with that particular piece, but there is talks about joining forces with universities to think about a maturity scale that represents that.
Okay. All right, appreciate that. I just want to end by appreciating you, the work of your amazing staff, and just know that I'm committed to the journey here with the city. Thank you.
Councilmember Torres?
Move to approve item D2.
Second.
Do you have any other comments? All right, great. I just want to also give my thanks to you, Selma, and your team for all of your work to really embed into our city culture, embed racial equity into our city culture, and make it this is just what we do. This is what we do. And I think that gets at Peter's last question of just how we ensure that this has continuity as we have, staff turnover, and as we just had in our last presentation, retirements. And so I really appreciate it. I think the budgeting for equity worksheet and the ongoing training and support that you have for folks I've seen it change, and I've seen the language change in departments, in conversations with me, just as I get updated about things over the last few years. So it's certainly working. I didn't even know that we had a racial equity training for everybody. I assume that must be part of the onboarding that I didn't know about. I think that's great news. And the racial equity assessment guide is also something I didn't know we had. I think that's really cool. So the fact that you're providing all these tools and also providing the support for folks to work through them, I think is really fantastic. So thank you. All right, I think we're ready for the vote.
Vote was unanimous.
Great. We will move on to item 3. This is also City Initiatives Roadmap, Beautify SJ Encampment Services Status Report. Omar, are you kicking us off, or Andrea? Okay.
Good afternoon, Chair Davis and members of the committee. My name is Omar Passons, Deputy City Manager for Homelessness. I'm joined by Andrea Flores-Shelton, Deputy Director for Parks, Recreation, and Neighborhood Services, and Dhruv Hamadi, Lead Product Manager for our IT department. We're here today to update you on our continued move towards an integrated systems approach to providing services to unhoused people living in encampments, beautifying our city, and improving our data so we can enhance our analytical capacity. You can't solve for one side of a Rubik's Cube. I mean, you can, but the other sides are still undone. And while we manage encampments is about providing high-quality services and timely removal of trash and other services, there are also other considerations. Sometimes our fire departments need to access a location and requires help from Public Works to clear a path in an encampment. Sometimes our housing department needs to send outreach staff in advance of construction activities and needs a clear feedback loop with Beautify San Jose so that everyone knows when the contact happened. Sometimes the transportation or police departments can't take steps to resolve vehicle issues at encampments until the housing department determines whether a vehicle is being lived in. These and many other examples require that interdependent departments have seamless communication and awareness of activities at encampments. The tool you will hear about today not only will improve our work and our outreach coordination, it will improve our ability to analyze what the data is telling us. We are moving towards a uniquely identifying set of definitions for what an encampment is, so that all departments know what location each other is referring to when communicating. This will also improve our ability to evaluate and plan for costs and capacity needs, and to help staff and council have the basic aggregate answers to questions that they get asked many times over. Applying a new technology to the systems approach will significantly improve our work. And now I'll turn it over to Andrea Flores-Shelton to walk us through the key objectives. Andrea?
Thank you. Here we go. These are the 3 key objectives that you see here, align with the encampment management strategy goals of efficiency, effectiveness, and equitable delivery of services. First, this new system will allow for a more efficient method to submit service requests and eliminate the need for residents to rely on emails and phone calls to report encampments. and for city staff to better track and respond to requests for services throughout the process. The coordinated work of city departments will be more effective as this new intelligent intake process will allow the city to deploy the appropriate teams and resources and better coordinate work across programs and department lines. And finally, we're all looking forward to having a method to easily pull data, report analytics, and assess performance. And we also want to nest that in an equitable approach. We want to make sure that we're directing resources equitably so that those communities that have been most impacted have the right level of service. So that again, when we see the analytics on the outside, we see that we are trying to achieve a clean city throughout and not just in those places that receive the most complaints. And I pressed the wrong button, sorry. When Beautify SJ began delivering services at encampments during the COVID emergency, the city quickly designed a system that allowed for tracking services and ping them at location. So we've been providing services and collecting data on a location-based technology. However, this system does not meet the complex and evolving program needs, as Omar described, for both Beautify SJ and the Housing Department and all of those other departments that are responding to encampments. Currently, there is no single IT management application that has all the features that are needed by staff who manage the variety of services delivered at encampments. Our city will require a customized system that can meet the needs of various city departments, city programs, and service partners. I'm now going to pass it over to Dhruv.
Great, thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon, Chair, Vice Chair, committee members, members of the public. My name is Dhruv Hamadi, Lead Product Manager for Housing Tech Initiatives in the Information Technology Department. So last November, the city initiated a human-centered design approach involving a high degree of collaboration between key stakeholders of the services and systems to identify collective needs and requirements at every stage of the service delivery process. So this collaborative effort involved the direct providers of encampment-related services, the Housing Department and Beautify SJ, as well as departments that have more indirect involvement, of which there are several: the Police Department, Fire Department, Environmental Services, Department of Transportation, Airport, Library, IT, as well as the City Manager's Office. So 10 in total. The city had not previously taken such a coordinated approach to identifying gaps and building solutions to encampment services. It became clear through the design process that the current state of the city's approach in encampment management involved manual processes, lack of data sharing, and transparency across departments, as well as an inability to aggregate reporting on services provided. So by engaging the various department stakeholders in the same room, the collaborative design sessions were able to identify process redundancies and silos among different departments and increase broad awareness of existing processes and services provided by each department. This resulted in a coordinated process design, future state consisting of the following 3 components. Number 1, the channels through which encampment-related complaints will be captured from city staff. Number 2, the system used by city staff to convert complaints into work orders, collect related data, and provide key data about encampments. And finally, number 3, the fieldwork related to encampments performed by both the Beautify SJ and Housing Departments. So the Housing Department and Beautify SJ aligned on must-have requirements for the initial release of the system, as well as future desired enhancements to be implemented in subsequent releases. So the key phase 1 requirements are the ability to create and track encampment service work orders based on complaints from city staff, mapping capability enabling field staff to easily drop a pin to locate an encampment, as well as data aggregation and reporting capabilities on encampment services provided. Council offices will also have limited access to the system to pull specific non-identifying reports. And finally, future features will include integrations with service partner systems, among other enhancements. Okay. All right. So after completing the process flow design and requirements gathering work this past month, the cross-departmental city executive committee team identified and agreed upon a plan to develop and release phase 1 of the system. So the implementation team will commence development later this month, and this will result in an initial release at the end of this calendar year. Phase 1 of the system will enable city staff to better deliver encampment services for both our housed and unhoused residents, and the data captured and reported on city services provided will enable the council and community to better understand the problem and craft policy and solutions to better address it. This concludes our presentation, and we can now take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have public comment on this item?
There are no hands up.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, we just had one hand go up. Liz Holtz.
Okay. Hi, Liz Holtz. Thank you very much, everyone. Liz Holtz, I'm with the Community and Companion Animal Project here in San Jose. One of the things that I have a question about with regards to the Beautify SJ Encampment program is the care of the animals at the encampments. I was just at the encampment over at Jurassic Park that was cleared 3 weeks ago, and there are still friendly cats at that location. All right, so I don't understand what is going on. I don't see anywhere on your process flow sheet animal control. I don't see how you expect animal control with 2 to 3 officers on duty to cover 5 cities to be able to assist with the encampment issues. All right. The animals there need to be taken care of just as well as the people. The animals need to go with their people. In order for them to go into the programs, they need to be spayed and neutered and vaccinated. They need to be rounded up. They need to be, not left behind. And this is something that is very, very important and needs to be addressed. All right. As you know, we've all been, asking for additional funding for animal care and services. These are the types of things that cause problems. Leaving animals out at, an encampment just lets them spread into the community and doesn't resolve the issue. Thank you.
Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. I saw this item, and I've been doing other things right now. I'm gonna have to review it better at YouTube afterwards. But I really wanted to speak on it as part of the recent sweeps issues around creek areas based on federal funding dollars for stormwater things and sewer issues. It's my real hope, Jackie and the gang and the group have very nicely talked about, they want to work on finding housing for those people. And I hope they really want to continue those efforts and offer really good follow-up for what's going on in the creek area, and that we don't treat this federal funding dollars available right now is, I hope it doesn't become a regular example to use law enforcement. I hope we're in a very special set of circumstances, and that we can't continuously rely on federal funding and then demand law enforcement to follow. That's just not a good combination for ourselves. I wanted to remind ourselves of those things, and thanks for this item and your time, and good luck on good communication, dialogue, talking to people and having good conversations just really makes things better. Always. Thanks.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. Councilmember Ortiz.
First off, thank you so much for all of your work. I'm really excited for this project. Being here in Silicon Valley, I think we have a culture of innovation, And I believe I read that we're the first city to build something like this. Is that correct?
So Vice Chair, there are, systems maintained by various cities, but, what we're trying to do here is really do something that's highly coordinated among all the different departments that are providing encampment-related services. We don't see anything out there that quite does that.
Great. That's great. It's good to know that our city is leading the way on this, and I know it'll help us as council members. I mean, I'm sure you guys get a lot of emails from council members. I know you've had your share of emails from my council district, and I think a lot of times you guys don't get the thanks for the hard work that you do. I think working on this issue and homeless encampments is like a thankless job. So I really wanted to take this opportunity to thank you. Thank you for collaborating with different offices, and hopefully by having this tool together, you'll get less emails from us because we could just look on the database and learn, as individuals where we are in the process. So just wanted to give my kudos. Thank you.
Councilmember Torres.
Thank you so much, all of y'all for your work. It's always interesting to get emails from the other Omar when they think that I'm Omar Passions, but it's like, no, I forward it back to him. Anyways, thank you for that. I think this is going to be important work, especially when we're dealing with our constituents. I do have a question though. I think it's more technical. Is this tracking system gonna allow us to figure out if the encampment is by a sensitive area, right? School, senior center, youth center, et cetera, park, right? Or kiddie park, or whatever it may be called nowadays. So.
Yeah, so thank you, Councilman, for the question. The answer is yes, and the reason for that is every city staff member will have access to this system and be able to input data about an encampment location.
Okay.
So based on that, if there's, for example, like a crime that's taking place in an encampment, or a fire, or if it's near a certain, like a school or like a waterway, all of that information should be available in the system.
All right. Great. Thank you. Oh, no. Motion to accept item D3.
Second.
Councilmember Candelas.
Thank you, Chair. I too, I just wanted to share my appreciation for the work going on in trying to coordinate the bureaucracy is how I see it, and doing it in a tangible way that gets across to not just meet the need of our residents, but also the folks who are actually unhoused as well. And to that point, one of the public commenters mentioned the pets. Maybe you can walk me through what kind of collaboration and coordination is happening with our Department of Public Works or our animal control or our animal center. That would be great. Thank you.
Sure, happy to. Thank you, Councilmember Candelas. In this particular project that we just finished up at Quarry Court, I was in contact with the Deputy Director of Animal Care Services in advance and made sure that he knew that we may be reaching out to him in the case that we did come across animals that weren't going to be leaving with the folks that did have operable vehicles and being removed, or through the abatement process. And we did actually turn over, I think it was cats, I think there were about at least 5 cats and kittens, and then 2 dogs. So we did turn that over. Specific again to this project, it was as much as it seemed like we were doing the totality of Coyote Valley, there were specific areas that we were working in. So once we completed that project, that doesn't mean that there's still encampments up Coyote that could be mobile. Their animals could be mobile, so I can't speak for animals that are currently there at this time. On a regular basis, and even if I look to our Guadalupe Gardens project, Columbus Park, again, we have regular contact with Animal Care on large projects. We do advanced planning. Animal Care was actually on our daily stand-up calls when we did Guadalupe Gardens, so we've done this previously. And then again, on any abatement that we do, or enhanced cleanup where we see an encampment that may have some issues. We are in contact with them. So they are part of the team.
Councilmember, the first part of what you had mentioned around the support for the unhoused individuals who are in encampments, I just want to let the committee know there are a couple of really exciting things that aren't till potentially phase 2, but Destination Home did a pilot that put the sort of power of HMIS in the hands of people who are unhoused in encampments so that they could have control over their data. The Homeless Management Information System is a regional tool that there are opportunities not to duplicate but to partner. That's down the road, but just be aware that our team is mindful of these other pieces that are out there that can be a more of a holistic way of bridging all these gaps.
Thank you, Omar, and I appreciate that. And I guess it was just the notion of how we're integrating, the swath of what we do as a city, and to the needs of the folks who are unhoused and the obviously the residents who care just as much as our furry friends as our neighbors. So thank you for the feedback.
Thank you. And I just want to make sure I'm clear. When we offer interim shelter to folks who have pets, do they get to take their pets along?
So in general, our systems interim housing, those sites do allow for people. There are dog runs and things of that sort. There's always room for improvement, but that's the sort of the basic answer.
Okay, thank you. And they would be subject to the same requirements as any home where there's a limit on the number of and types of pets that you can have, I'm assuming.
There are limits depending on where we're talking about, and I think there's a process of trying to figure out how to calibrate that.
Okay, great, thank you. There's actually two things about this that I may have missed. Do we have a consultant developing this tool, or is this in-house with IT?
Yeah, so Chair, we did have a consultant help us with the design of the system. All that work's now been complete, so that's behind us. We've gathered our requirements. We have our priority features, so now for implementation, we're going to be doing that largely in-house. We may bring on some support in terms of contract support and so forth, but it'll be done in-house.
Okay, great. And I saw the process workflow. It's very detailed. Reminds me of my previous job a little bit. There's intake with 311. Is there coordination with 311 in terms of reporting back out? That's been a limitation of 311 in the past, so that's why I'm asking. What public-facing part of this portal is there other than the ability for people to report via 311? What kind of information can they get back, and how will that occur?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. That's a very important question. So for phase 1, we're not going to be advertising this system to the public. For a very important reason, we don't want to overwhelm the system and have too many requests that we can't respond to based on resourcing. So we want to first really focus on understanding the problem, understanding the scale of the problem, and then match resourcing to meet it. That being said, there will be like a web form that we probably put on the city website that enables the public to report on an encampment, but we will be clear that it'll be used for providing better city services. In terms of response to the public, that will likely happen in subsequent phases when we can set better expectations in terms of service delivery and just, again, get a better handle on the scale of the problem.
So you're saying up here we still all have jobs?
Yeah.
Okay, got that.
That's right.
In terms of so this looks like a really ambitious 6 months for a development. Is that realistic?
So we're optimistic about that time frame. I think the biggest risk is just the level of orchestration that will be involved. So for example, there will be a touch point between this and the vehicle blight system, which you may or may not be familiar with. It's for lived-in vehicles, there will be orchestration between DOT's handling of vehicles and the housing department's management of the unhoused folks. And so that's just one example of a kind of a complex integration that will need to take place. And there are a few of those. That being said, I think we've spoken with our technical team. We're pretty confident that we can deliver this by end of the year, end of the calendar.
Chair Davis, I just add that we are talking about largely the same human beings that are required to oversee large abatements that are thrust upon us by the federal government, that are required to respond to these various programmatic pieces. So I just want the council, the committee to know that we do have a lot of things that involve the same 5, 10, 15 folks.
Thank you. Yes, I was giving you the out to help us set expectations, because I do think it's an ambitious timeline, and I know that we do have limited resources.
If I could just add to this, I've asked the same question of our IT partner, right? In terms of, phase one, we've been waiting for 2 years, right, to get to a phase one. So we've kind of pushed and do you need contingency time? But this new approach, I think, is really going to get us, again, that phase one. I'm feeling confident too, based on Drew and working with Khaled and Rob Lloyd, that we will get there, and we will continue to monitor that.
Okay, great. And do I understand that is the entire process workflow that you have here going to be in phase one, and it's just the audience of the application that's smaller, and phase two is different rollouts in terms of the communication piece, or are you just working on a specific subset of this process flow?
Yeah, the process flow that was attached to the memo is for phase one.
Okay.
But subsequent phases will include, more integrations with some of our service partners, potentially HMIS and others. But everything in that should be, is part of phase one.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. I think we're ready for the vote.
Vote is unanimous.
Great. We'll move on to item 4. Expanding the Youth Commission and enhancing youth participation in the city. That's Jill and her team.
Good afternoon, council members. My name is Michelle Ornott. I'm the Deputy Director of Public Services for San Jose Public Library. Presenting to you today are Megan Malloy, Librarian and Youth Commission Coordinator, and Lizzie Nolan, Senior Librarian and Manager of Youth Services and Teenage Q. We appreciate this opportunity to come back to you today to report on the Youth Commission.
Good afternoon, council members. On October 4th, 2022, City Council heard the City Initiatives Roadmap Bill of Rights for Children and Youth audit report and took action to accept the auditor's report and administration response, and included District 4 Councilmember Cohen's memo, which focused on expanding the youth voice in San Jose. The memo directed staff to 1. Determine whether the Youth Commission should be expanded to include voices of those ages 21 to 25, it's currently 14 to 20, and identify which additional City of San Jose commissions would benefit from including a dedicated position for youth. We need to create a procedure for selecting those youth members and determine which commissions would best serve those youth members. And then we were directed to report the Youth Commission's findings to NSC in spring of 2023. Consideration and implementation of this direction created an opportunity for youth commissioners and staff to revisit related policies and procedures to include and uplift the lived experiences of young people in the city of San Jose who are most vulnerable, have been underserved in the past, and are often the hardest to reach. To conduct analysis and develop recommendations, staff centered feedback from an ad hoc committee of youth commissioners and outreach to past members. The current Youth Commission formed the ad hoc committee to examine the City Council's direction, provide concrete suggestions, and refine the recommended responses. The Youth Commission was integral in providing insights from lived experiences, crafting ideas, researching other peer organizations, and reflecting the input of a broader group of youth through their youth advisory councils. Upon close consideration of the potential benefits and challenges associated with expanding the age eligibility for Youth Commission participation to include ages 21 to 25, the Youth Commission recommends maintaining the current age range of participants who are between 14 and 20 years of age for the following reasons. The closeness of ages and experiences of current members is essential to how the Youth Commission functions. Youth Advisory Councils, or YACs as we call them, are a critical youth engagement opportunity led by youth commissioners and are primarily after-school time volunteer activities, and most recruitment is done through high schools within that commissioner's district. The functions of the Youth Commission might be made more complicated, and including a wide age range with older young adults could create unbalanced social and leadership dynamics. Youth commissioners express concern that the youth of such different ages, such as a first-year high school student and a college graduate, may have difficulty relating to one another, and that the ideas of high school members may not be taken as seriously, or their voices would be harder to hear with older youth in the room. Many San Jose boards and commissions already have vacancies to which young people ages 18 and over can apply and be appointed, and the Youth Commission will add to the work plan for next year to work with staff on making recommendations to help increase the presence of 18 to 24-year-old voices on other city commissions. As a policy alternative to expanding the age range of participants, and in order to further open the door to include more youth and young adults who can be strong advocates for serving target population groups, the Youth Commission recommends adding a statement that prioritizes the diversity of the city in the special eligibility requirements.
Thus, the recommended additions to the municipal code for the Youth Commission's special eligibility requirements are as follows. The commission shall consist of individuals with a variety of lived experiences navigating the programs and services available for children and youth, including involvement with school or community activities. The members shall represent the diversity of ethnicity, race, gender, sexual orientation, and economic status of the people of the city of San Jose.
In acknowledgement of the time commitment required to participate as a full-time student and an engaged youth commissioner, staff recommends that youth commissioners receive paid compensation for their service. This is a mechanism to include economically diverse voices on the Youth Commission. A stipend incentivizes prioritizing youth commission work and events with the goal of increasing engagement and participation. And a model for paid attendance at commission meetings should allow for flexibility for youth commissioners to still earn needed volunteer hours within the city for any additional duties. As we understand the mayor's June budget message, $11,000 has been proposed for the Commission for Youth Leadership Training. The remaining costs identified in MBA number 6, including the compensation, are not referenced in the proposed budget.
Thus, the recommended additions under compensation of commission members that staff would work towards adding would be notwithstanding above, due to the need to maintain full-time status and related duties, youth commissioners may also receive compensation regardless of household income status. Compensation for monthly meeting attendance does not prevent or preempt a commissioner from holding an internship or earning credit for volunteer hours for service within the city.
The second directive of including a dedicated youth seat on additional City of San Jose commissions could exacerbate current attendance and vacancy issues, as adding a seat would increase the number of seats needed for a quorum. And considering current commission vacancies and the recent return to in-person meetings, it could further negatively impact city commission participation. Furthermore, in the municipal code, the Youth Commission already has established the power to select and designate members of the commission to act as representatives to all other city boards and commissions. This means the Youth Commission can determine its procedure to build representation and partnerships with other city commissions. The City Auditor's recommendation to Article 5 of the San Jose Bill of Rights for Children and Youth highlights the youth's ability to engage in local government. While the city has certain initiatives in place, such as the Youth Commission, it's unclear how the city meets the other elements in the article and to address the gaps of creating space for youth to provide input on other boards, commissions, and committees, and doing more to inform youth about the laws that impact them. We shared this image, Roger Hart's ladder of children's participation, to frame the current charge for the Youth Commission. This typology describes increasing levels of power and control over decision-making that adults give to children, presented as a metaphorical ladder, with each ascending rung representing increasing levels of child agency, control, or power. A single seat on a city commission could appear to be somewhat token in nature, as opposed to true shared decision-making and youth-initiated engagement. Two questions continually came up in the Youth Commission Ad Hoc Committee. Why tokenize the single youth voices on other city advisory and decision-making bodies rather than strengthen the Youth Commission's participation role and duty? And how can the Youth Commission provide the City Council and Mayor with comments and recommendations on legislation that primarily affects the children and youth of San Jose? To help answer these questions, the Youth Commission reviewed local Bay Area youth commissions and noted strong models that worked in partnership with their local councils and supervisors through providing comments and recommendations on pieces of proposed legislation that would affect their city's young people. By adopting similar language in the functions, powers, and duties of the San Jose's Youth Commission, the city would be providing a seat at the table for youth to participate in shared decisions with adults. These reforms would close the gaps in programs and initiatives that allow youth to provide input in local government, as pointed out by the city auditor, by creating a direct line of communication between the city council and mayor, and by affirming the Youth Commission's civic contribution, as well as informing them of how local laws impact San Jose's young people.
Thus, staff recommend the following preamble text. The purpose of the commission is to collect all information relevant to advising the City Council and Mayor on the effects of legislative policies, needs, assessments, priorities, programs, and budgets concerning children and youth of San Jose. Before City Council takes any final action on matters that falls within the scope of the commission's adopted work plan or the City of San Jose Children and Youth Master Plan, the City Manager's Office shall refer the matter to the Youth Commission for comment and recommendation. This referral requirement shall not apply to any matter where immediate action by City Council is necessary to protect public interest, and that all functions, powers, and duties will be executed in accordance with the adopted work plan.
So to conclude, the San Jose Youth Commission and staff suggest adopting changes to the municipal code to include language to be more representative of the diversity of San Jose. Explore providing stipends for appointed youth commissioners as a mechanism to include more economically diverse voices on the commission and increase participation. And expand the recommendation and advisory capacity of the San Jose Youth Commission to council legislation that falls under the scope of their adopted work plan and the City of San Jose Children and Youth Master Plan. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to the public first for comment.
Okay, we're going to go to in-person speakers first. When I call your name, please just come down, and the first person to the podium can speak first. The rest can just wait on the stairs. I'm going to have Anya, Toy, Nolan, and Nena, sorry. Go ahead.
All right, Chair and Council members, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Anya Mishra, and I've been a Youth Commissioner for District 1 for the past 8 days. As the youth of the city, we are the upcoming leaders, innovators, and catalysts for change. We may be young, but through our lived experiences, we have gained valuable insight into the hurdles and ambitions of our generation. Unfortunately, our voices are often overlooked, diminishing the value of our perspectives and contributions. It is imperative that this situation undergoes a transformation. The involvement in young people and local government empowers us to become active stakeholders in our communities. It fosters a profound sense of civic responsibility, imbuing us with the understanding that our actions and our decisions hold significant influence over the world around us. By participating actively, we cultivate essential leadership skills and foster a deep sense of empathy that shapes us into well-rounded citizens. So, by embracing these recommendations, we will promote and nurture youth engagement in local government, opening the doors to a wealth of fresh perspectives, innovative ideas, and representation of economically and ethnically diverse voices. We bring forth limitless energy, unwavering commitment, and a profound understanding of the challenges and aspirations of our youth. Together, we can work towards constructing a more robust and inclusive city, an environment where the dreams and ambitions of young individuals are both esteemed and acted upon. By wholeheartedly embracing these recommendations and amplifying youth engagement in various San Jose commissions, we guarantee that our city thrives with vibrancy, fosters forward-thinking approaches, and exhibits resilience that will endure for generations to come. I earnestly appeal to the chair and esteemed members of this committee to acknowledge the immense untapped potential residing within the youth of our community. I urge you to provide meaningful opportunities for us to make substantial contributions and invest in initiatives that nurture our own personal growth and development. Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Next speaker.
All right, good afternoon, Chair and Council members. I'm T. Leung. I am the future District 4 Commissioner for the Youth Commission. I'm wearing the famed San Jose shirt right here that Councilmember Davis mentioned earlier. But I'd like to speak on why youth voice in our community is important and why it's crucial to expand the advisory powers of the Commission. So although the existence of the Youth Commission is a step forward in preserving youth voice, we do lack investment and power. All city projects affect youth in a variety of ways. You know, San Jose has the highest amount of youth homelessness within the US. We're still being affected by COVID, whether our education or our mental health. Gun violence and climate change still disproportionately affect us. And all these issues are felt by youth, and only by increased youth involvement can these issues be solved. So the adoption of these recommendations will strengthen the power of the Youth Commission to better uplift the concerns that affect our very futures. Expanding these opportunities to increase youth involvement and power is crucial to fixing these systems that continue to disadvantage us and also increase civic engagement. And on that topic, I just want to talk a little bit about how civic responsibility has, changed my own life. Being involved statewide or locally now in Youth Commission has been crucial to making me a more empowered, wiser, and compassionate person. And so I urge you to accept these recommendations to increase the civic engagement and power of youth in our community. And I want to end by saying that youth deserve to invest in our own futures. And that starts with strengthening the Youth Commission. It starts with saying yes to enhancing youth participation and saying yes to youth voice. Thank you.
I'm going to call some more names down. Andrew, Ananya, and Aldojul. If you can please come down. Go ahead.
Hello, Chair and Council members. It is my pleasure to be the voice of the youth today. My name is Nolan Mascarenas, and I have been newly appointed as Youth Commissioner for District 10 for the following year. The city of San Jose has been my home for the past 15 years of my life. It's where I learned to ride a bike, scored my first soccer goal, and made my first friend. I continue to be amazed by my city's diverse culture and distinctiveness in including a wide spectrum of ages among our youth. Today, I stand before you as a humble representative to highlight the significance of including us, the younger generation, in every stage of the decision-making process. We, the youth of San Jose, are the future pioneers, leaders, and groundbreaking individuals tasked with creating an equitable environment for all. We are not silent observers, and we deserve to be held, heard, and acted upon. By involving us, you will uplift and motivate more youth participation in the government, opening the door to a group of high-achieving and driven individuals. You will get an unconventional mindset and unique outlook. Above all, we the youth bring the ambition to reach for the stars. And like Neil Armstrong once said, even if we reach the moon, we will still be making one giant leap for mankind. Captivating the youth to partake in our local government will encourage us to work towards creating a world that we envision, rather than living in one that others have created. As a result, we will be able to comprehend the implications of our actions and enhance our skills and traits to become good citizens. To the chair and members of this committee, I urge you to accept these recommendations to strengthen the Youth Commission and its efforts. We can make San Jose a place where all youth are represented and reflected in every aspect of our local government. Imagination has no age, and we, the youth, desire to be heard, taken seriously, and most importantly, turn our dreams into reality. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Chair and council members, thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm Naya Pradeep Kumar, and I have been a youth commissioner for District 2 also for the past week. And today I'm here as an advocate of the youth, understanding the importance of our involvement to maintain our community at its best. And it's a known fact that youth empowerment plays a key role in the development of our society. Being the youth of our city, we are the starting point for all of the future advancements in our city. However, all too often, our voices can be marginalized and overlooked, and this is something that needs to change. By making sure that the Youth Commission is diverse, we are taking a step to make the underrepresented voices heard. Additionally, by adding a stipend for the commissioners, we are motivating the already motivated group of people on whose hands the future lies in. To the chair and members of this committee, I ask you to recognize the significance of the youth in our community. Kindly accept the given recommendations to bring on the strong base of the Youth Commission to ultimately foster our own growth and development. The significance of our voices, opinions, and ideas, wherever they come from, cannot be overlooked. Thank you.
I'm going to call down the last in-person speaker card, Dietra.
Hello, my name is Andrew Liu. I represent District 5 on the San Jose Youth Commission. I stand before you as a supporter of this policy to empower and strengthen youth voice in our city. In my experience, as a full-time high school student, it's hard to stay up with council items. And at times that I need to represent my peers, when they can't via public comment, I can't because I'm learning in class. This recommendation helps us properly represent our peers. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Good afternoon, chairs and council members. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Aldo Joel. I have been a youth commissioner for District 8 for about 6 months, and I stand before you as a passionate advocate for youth participants in local government. Today, I want to emphasize the vital importance of involving young people in decision-making process that shape our communities. We in the youth of this city are future leaders, innovators, and change makers. We are not merely passive bystanders, we are stakeholders. With a vested interest in the well-being of prosperity of our community. However, all too often our voices are marginalized and overlooked. This needs to change. By accepting these recommendations, you will be encouraging and fostering youth participation in local government and tapping into wellspring of fresh perspectives, innovating ideas, and untapped potential. We the youth of San Jose bring energy, enthusiasm, and a unique understanding of the challenges and aspirations of our generation. We possess the audacity to dream big and the determination to transform those dreams into reality. Because our voices matter, our ideas matter, and our presence matters. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Chair and council members, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Ananya Sriram, and I am a former District 7 Youth Commissioner and Youth Commission Vice Chair. Youth have played a significant role in reshaping communities throughout history. We can see this in the civil rights movement, in the climate change movements, and in the efforts to address threats to school safety. We, the youth of this city, are future generations of change makers. We are aspiring doctors, innovators, leaders, educators, and more. I've lived in the city for my entire life. It's 17 years of absorbing the culture that surrounds me, whether it be finding the best Indian restaurants or making friends in my neighborhood. It's 17 years, however, of also finding parts of this beautiful city that are also in need of change. I always found myself thinking about ways to improve the city, whether it would be when I saw bits of plastic carelessly tossed onto our highways and students smoking outside of their schools. And I, along with the rest of the commission, have worked throughout the past 2 years to change and address these issues bit by bit, whether it be through writing policies on increasing the distance between highways and houses to establishing anonymous tip lines in schools. And by accepting these recommendations described in the memorandum, you will be cultivating and supporting youth participation in local governments, allowing us to speak our thoughts and to contribute to ongoing discussion by stepping beyond the sidelines. I implore you to recognize the potential the youth have in fostering change in the city. Let our voices not only echo throughout the City Hall, but also throughout the city and eventually throughout the nation. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Chair and council members, thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak before you today. My name is Dietra Huang. I was appointed as the District 3 Youth Commissioner this year, but I worked on the Youth Advisory Council for 5 years. I am here as a strong advocate for youth participation in local government. Today, I want to express my support as a private citizen for the acceptance of the memorandum and to highlight the importance of involving youth in decision-making processes that shape our communities. We, the youth of this city, are future leaders, innovators, and change makers. It is imperative to recognize our unique perspectives, energy, and ideas to ensure a vibrant and inclusive future for our communities. As a youth who grew up in a redline community, and as a daughter of Vietnamese refugees, I experienced the limited access to opportunities for those who were not already connected to local government. When we empower the young individuals to contribute their voices and involve them directly in decision-making, we find fresh insights and diverse viewpoints that shed new light on complex problems, leading to more comprehensive and effective solutions. To the chair and members of this committee, I ask you to recognize our vision of a city where the dreams and ambitions of young individuals are not only acknowledged, but also acted upon. By enhancing youth participation in local government, we ensure that our city remains dynamic, forward-thinking, and resilient for future generations. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go online to Zoom. I have Megan.
Chairs and council members, I am Megan Leung, a recently appointed member of the San Jose Youth Commission representing District 7. Today, I speak before you as a passionate advocate for youth participation in local government. I believe in the power of young voices and their ability to shape our city for the better. I am calling in virtually today because I'm currently in Washington, D.C., immersed in a fully funded internship opportunity on Capitol Hill. In just a few days, I have witnessed the meaningful work done by congressional professionals. As a young Vietnamese American from East San Jose with ambitious dreams, I aspire to have my voice heard in those very halls. That is why your active support of a diverse youth commission holds such profound importance for me. By expanding youth involvement and demonstrating your commitment to our development as young leaders, you convey a powerful message that our voices do matter. Investing in our potential and expanding our early opportunities empowers us to succeed and prepares us for impactful careers in public policy. Active participation in decision-making processes not only offers valuable experience and a deep understanding of local government operations, but the ability to contribute our talents and perspectives towards legislation that directly affects us. This exposure cultivates confidence and equips us with the necessary skills to address future challenges. To the chairs and members of this committee, by accepting the items in this memo, you can help forge a future where young leaders from all backgrounds thrive and where our voices are valued and embraced. Through the Youth Commission, you are shaping the future of San Jose by fostering inclusivity, empowerment, and positive change. Thank you for recognizing the importance of our involvement in investing in dreams of youth like myself. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks for the many public speakers today. Nice to hear this item. I wanted to comment in living in San Diego at this time. Their youth commission work is doing their own efforts of revitalizing and rethinking what can be the idea of a youth commission. And they've come up with an interesting idea to allow 25-year-olds, up to 25 years old, to be in the youth commission with the idea that a bit older youth commissioners can help younger youth commissioners in mentorship ideas and roles and experiences. So, and overall, good luck in the work that you're trying to do here in San Jose on the item. And thanks for your time.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. Before I go to my colleagues, I just want to thank all of the current, former, and even I think I heard a future youth commissioner speak today, and I very much appreciate your very well thought out and reasoned comments, and very grateful to have you here today. I for one will be supporting the recommendations, and I'm certain we'll hear more from my colleagues. Councilmember Ortiz.
Thank you, Chairwoman. I also would just like to thank and really just mention how impressed I was from the words shared by all of our youth commissioners and former youth commissioners and members of the YAC. Your words were very impactful, thoughtful, and by how some of you spoke, it looks like we may have some future council members here in the room. Let me know. I'll manage your campaign. I've had the opportunity to attend a few events with the Youth Advisory Commission. One spearheaded by my commissioner, Andrew, who's up there at the top. He invited me to an interview with members of his YAC, and I was just really impressed with their questions, very mature questions talking about issues within our city, issues with the East Side, just very down to earth and well informed about what's going on, both in high schools and within city government. I've also had the opportunity to attend a policy summit with several of the youth commissioners. And I had the opportunity to do that alongside Vice Mayor Kamei, and I was just impressed with the dynamic, hardworking youth that we have been able to elevate through the Youth Commission. And I truly believe that by providing them flexible opportunities to exercise their voice, to participate in city government, we'll be improving our government systems. Youth are our future. They're going to be inheriting the city. They're going to be inheriting the world that we pass off to them, and it's extremely important that we enable them to do so. I just want to elevate the great work that Andrew has been doing as a commissioner for District 5. I want to congratulate him on his second term as commission, and I know he's going to do a great job, and I know he has been representing District 5 well. So I'm also going to support the motion because I believe youth, by providing them a stipend, it allows them to be more flexible. I had to have a part-time job, and now allowing them to at least get a stipend to do this type of work, it gives them the opportunity to at least have some money in their pocket and not have to miss important meetings for the commission. So, and I would like to make the motion.
Second.
Thank you. I always talk and I forget to do that.
Chair, if we could add a cross-reference, but in this case, a cross-reference to the fall, as we need to do additional kind of work in terms of the language, and then also further exploration around the stipend. But a cross-reference to the fall would be preferred.
Okay. Well, can we make a motion to cross-reference to the fall?
Second.
All right. And then I do have one. Well, and then thank you so much for our staff for really guiding our youth and coaching them as they make their decisions as youth leadership. I know that your work is hard, and I really appreciate that. I have a question because we did talk about expanding the youth age, and I can understand how that could cause some issues. As our youth commissioners kind of age out of the youth commission, are we supporting them with applying to other commissions? What does that look like?
So most of our youth commissioners who age out of the commission are generally going off to school outside of the city of San Jose. And so unfortunately, they kind of lose that residency opportunity. Okay. That being said, they are still very involved. We have our former chair is actually here supporting their sister who spoke today. And so they do come back. And then I have helped support them in other ways. We have a former youth commissioner for District 4, Amelia Utinko, who was a Resilience Corps associate this past year, working with, where did she? I know she was with Resilience Corps working directly with the San Jose Public Library Foundation because she stayed in the city. So we are sort of working with them. And then, in fact, at our last meeting, we actually had a former youth commissioner from long ago who is now a teacher at Willow Glen High School come and speak and just sort of encourage the Youth Commission on the work that they're doing. And that was really exciting to see. So they are still connected, and we do still support them outside of their traditional commissioner terms and assist them in every way that we can.
Were you going to speak? Go ahead, please.
And thank you for the question, Council Member. I think when we were visited by the former commissioner who's now working at Willow Glen, I think it provides us this opportunity to look at an alumni network or a networking area. And now we're going into our third year of the Youth Commission. I think with our team, we're starting to see what those possibilities could be. So thank you.
That's great. I was just going to mention some sort of alumni network or continuing of, collaboration and support would be great, because these are our future leaders, and as they go off into their work and become engineers or doctors or like they were mentioning, it's good to find ways to bring them back, whether it's through a commission or who knows, they want to run for city council someday. So love to see innovative ways in which we can support that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Dewan.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say thank you for those who's already served as Youth Commissioner. And I want to say congratulations for those who join as we speak today. You are the leaders. You are the present, and you are the future. I am very proud of all of you that have the courage to join the Youth Commissioner, to have your voice heard and to represent the youth here in the city of San Jose. I'm very proud, and I empower and inspire you to continue to seek and challenge and to change in our community, not only here with the city of San Jose, but wherever you choose to live or to move to. Again, you are the future of our city. And please, every single decision that you make sure it's pragmatic, make sure you see both sides of the coin, make sure that it serves our community. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Dewan. Councilmember Torres.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you to staff. I know that the work that our staff does is incredibly important. And I participated in the YAC back a long time ago when it was actually part of the Mayor's Gag Prevention Task Force, so when it was in PRNS. So that was a very, very long time ago. I think that's when I met Angel, actually. But Angel still looks very young. And I don't. I have all the gray.
You're getting older.
But thank you so much to our youth commissioners. You do incredible work. It's always important to represent youth, as they are the most underrepresented in government. And so keep up the great work. I'll be supporting the motion, and I too offer my services of running your campaign when you run for city council. So let's do this. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Torres. Councilmember Candelas.
Thank you, Vice Chair. I too want to just express my appreciation for staff on this item, as well as our youth commissioners who came out and spoke up so passionately and very well articulated. So kudos. We got a great group of young leaders, and I too want to just echo the sentiment of my colleagues, and we have to do more to incentivize youth commissioners throughout our districts that are representative of our community. And I think this stipend is gonna, it's small, and but it's a step in the right direction. And you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't give my Commissioner Aldo a shout out. And you know, he's doing great work. I'm very proud to represent the same district that he does. So that being said, kudos, keep up the good work, and I look forward to working alongside our Youth Commission and hearing the recommendations that they provide to not just this committee, but the council more generally. Thank you.
Excellent. That's all comments from council. Let's move forward with a vote.
Okay, the vote is unanimous with Davis absent.
Oh, no.
Davis just arrived. And the vote is yes, so the vote is unanimous.
Thought my colleagues might be a little more verbose than they were. I was hurrying. All right, we will move on to item 5, the Bill of Rights for the Children and Youth of the City of San Jose, and we're getting an update today.
Good afternoon again, council members. My name is Michelle Ornott, Deputy Director of Public Services for San Jose Public Library. Presenting today are Laura Buzo, Assistant to the City Manager, Megan Malloy, Librarian and Youth Commission Coordinator, and Lizzie Nolan, Senior Librarian and Manager of Youth Services and Teen HQ. This afternoon, staff is seeking committee feedback and acceptance of the verbal report with a cross-reference to City Council on June 20th, 2023. A resolution to adopt this revised countywide Bill of Rights can appear on the June 20th, 23 agenda, pending approval from this committee.
Good afternoon, council members. Laura Buzo, Assistant to the City Manager's Office. The revised Bill of Rights for children and young adults could not be more timely. The City Manager's Office, in partnership with city staff, parents, caregivers, youth, and community stakeholders, are currently developing the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. It has been the commitment of the City Manager's Office and city staff to ensure that the Bill of Rights serve as a framework and guide throughout the design and development of the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. This will ensure that the Bill of Rights are operationalized through policy priorities, investments, and program and services, thereby placing the health, wellness, and overall well-being and future of children and youth and young adults at the center of the decision-making process. So with that said, the recommended action today is to adopt the revised Santa Clara County Bill of Rights for children and young adults, sunset the current Bill of Rights for children and youth of the City of San Jose, previously adopted by City Council on April 27, 2021, Resolution number 79978. Next.
The city's adoption of the revised Santa Clara County Bill of Rights for children and young adults will help build stronger pathways for collaboration among key partners in our community that have already adopted and endorsed it, including the Santa Clara County Board of Supervisors, Alum Rock Union School District, and the Santa Clara County Office of Education. The city's current Bill of Rights was built upon an older version of the county's Bill of Rights that was created without the participation and voice of children and young adults. Per the Kids in Common website, in the spirit of nothing about us without us, members of the Youth Liberation Movement set out in summer 2022 to create a new Bill of Rights grounded on the ideas of wisdom of young people. And over 250 youth, including the Youth Commission of San Jose, were included in the county's recent development process.
By adopting staff recommendations today, the Santa Clara County Bill of Rights for Children and Young Adults will replace the city's Bill of Rights for Children and Youth that was adopted by City Council in April 2021. There are no implications to the audit on the Bill of Rights for Children and Youth released in August 2022. The adoption of the revised Bill of Rights does not change the recommendations stated within the report and the administration's ability to adhere and implement them. The revised Bill of Rights for Children and Young Adults, as recommended in the audit report, will inform the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. City staff are currently developing the Children and Youth Services Master Plan, which aligns well with the timing of the adoption of the revised Bill of Rights. Overall, there is strong alignment between the county updates and the city's version. The city document includes sub-articles that provide a roadmap for how county rights can be implemented. The city can and should maintain aspects of this roadmap. Specifically, the Youth Commission will map these sub-articles to the county version as part of their upcoming adopted work plan in support of the Children and Youth Master Plan. Thank you so much, and that concludes our presentation. Happy to answer any questions that you have.
Thank you. We'll go to public comment.
I'm going to call in-person speakers first. I have Nolan, Cleo, and Ananya. If you want to come down, the first person to the mic can go ahead and start speaking.
Dear Chair and Council members, I'm Nolan Mascarenas back again this time. And this time around, I'm here to request your consideration to adopt the revised Bill of Rights for children and young adults. This will be a great initial step towards granting them their fundamental privileges. Children and young adults have endless potential, which needs cultivation and nurturing from local government. While they make up a sizable portion of our population here in San Jose, they should be treated with the same stature as their older counterparts. This will provide them a foundation to contribute meaningfully and blossom into individuals equipped to take over for past generations. The revised Bill of Rights will motivate children and young adults to engage in affairs impacting them in their day-to-day life. It will also give youth the ability to bring their hidden insights, opinions, and experiences. Above all, it gives children and young adults a platform to drive change and build a San Jose for all. Every person in this room was once a child or young adult. Despite our differences, our childhood is a shared experience. As a representative of the youth, I believe it is imperative that every child and young adult in the city of San Jose be given the tools to flourish, regardless of their background or demographic. To the chair and members of this committee, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with a single step. And by accepting the adoption of the updated Bill of Rights for children and young adults, you'll be taking that first step. Once again, thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next speaker.
Hello, thank you for this time to speak. My name is Cleo Cole, and I'm a member of the Youth Liberation Movement, which is a youth group dedicated to ending the generational cycles of poverty and oppression by translating our lived experiences into actionable solutions. I'm one of the youth who worked to create this revised Bill of Rights for children and young adults. As was stated in the presentation, the original Bill of Rights for Santa Clara County was made in 2010 without the input or leadership of youth, and this time around, it was young people such as myself leading this effort. We spoke to about 250 young people to create this document. These rights were informed by the life experiences of a very diverse range of young people. Included in this 250 number is many formerly incarcerated, former foster youth, and formerly homeless young people, along with many other groups such as young parents and those with disabilities. For some, these rights include what helped them to thrive, and for others, they're what they need to thrive now or what they wish they had when they were younger. These rights encompass what children and youth need and deserve. This being adopted and these values being affirmed by you all would mean not only so much to me, but all of the young people who I've spoken to and who have worked on this throughout the whole process. The adoption of this would be a milestone for this city in honoring the rights of youth and uplifting their voices. Thank you for hearing me.
Thank you. Next speaker.
I guess I'm back again too, but Chair and council members, I'm here today to speak regarding the adoption of the revised Bill of Rights for children and young adults, which is a crucial step to safeguarding the fundamental rights of the youth and empowering them to thrive. So the young people and youth of the city are the future of our society, and it's imperative that we recognize their unique needs and aspirations. And just as we've established, fundamental rights for all citizens, it's time to create a framework that specifically protects and empowers our youth by calling for equitable opportunities, healthcare, and protection. The adoption of this particular revised Youth Bill of Rights is essential for building a just and prosperous society. It'll provide a strong foundation for the rights and well-being of the youth by enabling them to fulfill their full potential and contributing meaningfully to our shared future. So it's important to recognize the importance of our voices to protect our rights and empower us to shape a better world for ourselves and generations to come. To the chair and members of this committee, please consider the adoption of this updated Bill of Rights for children and young adults. Let us join the growing number of communities throughout this state and across the nation that have embraced this crucial step towards securing the rights and well-being of our youngest citizens in the country's future. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to move to on Zoom. I have Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. Embedded as part of the Children's Bill of Rights that you guys have been working really well on the past few years is tech ideas, how to address tech, how to address being bullied, and what to do in such situations, and that you have rights in that process. I think the accountability with tech practices I work on can be a really good complement to the Children's Bill of Rights issues, and ways that children, young people can really, by studying accountability practices and its concepts of civil rights and civil protections, is an important component of how they grow and live and thrive in the future of our city, and when, as Councilperson JUN said, travel to other places in their lives. It's things they carry with them. And so good luck in really talking about how tech accountability can have a real important part in civil rights and civil protections in the future of the Children's Bill of Rights issues, and to really note the seriousness of what tech accountability can really be about. It's important. It's good stuff, and it can help Viva Calle stuff a lot too. By the way, it's part of that whole community harmony process. That's how I try to talk about Vision Zero and tech issues as well. Thank you.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. And again, I want to thank our public speakers for not only coming out, but so eloquently stating your case. Councilmember Torres?
Yes, thank you so much for that presentation. It's always important to make sure that we're investing in our youth and families. They are definitely the bedrock of our city, and we need to do more for them. So with that, I accept and cross-reference this item to the City Council on 6/20.
All right, I see no other hands, so I think we're ready for the vote.
The vote was unanimous.
Great, thank you. We'll move on to open forum.
Blair.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Thanks for the meeting today. I've been trying to talk all week about, I guess, the two issues that are really important to me this week is ARPA issues and Measure E funding. A real good luck with ARPA issues and how to be just open to different choices. I've mentioned living wage issues that I think people really try to create good examples and how to practice decency in their investments and decision making. That it shouldn't be too difficult to work on ARPA issues. Real good luck how it really needs to be removed from being held in police budgets and placed into more forward-thinking, peaceful, practical departments. You know, there is a real point that we separate ourselves from police as community work sometimes, and this really seems one of those times. So good luck in your efforts. And about Measure E issues, the Measure E things. What I was trying to say at the end of yesterday is that I think we have a real issue with affordable housing and market rate housing. And some on the council really want to move back into market rate housing and kind of dismiss affordable ideas and MI ideas, middle income housing, that really can do some interesting good work at this time. And I don't know, they're taking a gamble and a risk, and I don't know if it's worth that risk. And I think we're doing something safe, conservative, that's really decent, and it's practical and it's progressive. And I just hope I can get more credit in how to understand its issues. That way, we can lessen the fear factor that I think some of the council persons are having at this time. And market rate housing may not have to be everything at this time. And middle income can do a lot of things and offer a lot of versatility and flexibility for low income.
Back to the committee.
Thank you. We're adjourned.